We're live. We are live. We're live. Hello.
Things happen, war nukes happen, and you guys got an express one-way ticket from Steve Bellion, the young silver dragon, back to Elturel. And you guys arrived back in Elturel, where all of the armies are converging for all the armies are going to converge and then march upon the Well of Dragons. They want to arrive there in exactly what did I say, like about 18 days ish, plot amount of days to meet Cormir, right? So Cormir is coming at the same time. The Purple Dragon Knights and stuff like that, they're all arriving, and it's about a third of your army, something like that. A critical, you know what I mean? It's min force situation where you guys have to arrive, and everybody knows that like you got about two, 3 nights left to refit, and then they're pressing. What happened last night or last session? You guys got a message from Untharp Frume to go to the
Twin black antlers.
twin black antlers. Thank you, D&D, for just making it super easy to remember. But anyways, so you guys are heading back to the Twin Black Antlers. That's the bar, the tavern that the Order of the Gauntlet meet. You guys have been there several times in your career, in this campaign. Back when the Green S days, and you guys were about to hit the super amazing campaign called Horde of the Dragon Queen, which was super fun. And that wagon train, the Oregon Trail of wagon riding.
Somebody died of dysentery for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do not ford the river. And you guys forded it.
Rattlesnake bite.
But anyways, yes, Oregon fail happened, and you guys are back at Elturel, the shining city, the shining holy city. You got a note. Everybody got some sort of note from Untharp Frume to meet you guys tonight at dusk. You guys all converged on the Twin Black Antlers, and you guys wanted to have a secret private meeting or whatever, and you guys raised Darren's Tower in the High Garden, which is like the central park in the rich kid district of Elturel. And you guys jumped in there, and you guys started like getting to know each other, and knock on the side of the door after about 20 minutes. I think you guys were distributing whole bunches of loot at that time. I think this was like the first time you're like, guys, let's just start figuring things out. I think your AC went to 20.
So found out we had 20 days to get there.
Yeah, 20 days.
20
days. And it takes a fortnight to march the entire army in like 3 columns with dragons overhead, in a defensive posture all the way to Waterdeep to arrive at Cormir. And that's watering horses and resting and things like that. It takes a fortnight to get to the Well of Dragons. That's the big, timing of it. So knock, knock, knock on the door. A dude with both appendages comes in. You guys see, out the moat or whatever Darren Tower has. You see a blondish, dirty blonde-haired Rainier Neverember in leather kind of armor, bracers and stuff. And he's got a gray cloak over one shoulder with various pouches and stuff. He looks kind of sleek. Um, Everything tied off where it needs to be tied off. Oh, I gotta put a Lantaurus in the Darren's Tower as well. He's in there. It's getting really tight. I did the dimensions on it with what's that stuff called? Dwarven Forge. And 20 feet by 20 feet is rather tight. So you guys are in that little Darren's Tower, standing on, there's platinum everywhere because I think you guys shoveled just butt tons of platinum into the Darren's Tower, and now it's just this money pit. And you guys are in there. So knock, knock, knock. Connor says, bring Rainier Ember in. He's like, oh, Henry, thank you so much. He's like, he kind of looks at his arm, and it's a little bit, one arm is tan and the other one's not, tan. It's kind of pasty, and he's like, oof, this thing's pretty fantastic. I see you guys found a nice place to talk here in Central Park. Any look at Highgarden, and he looks at all of you, and greetings and well met, alak and alay, and LARPing language, and kind of stands there. I'll give you guys the opportunity if someone wants to jump in.
Like, welcome to our little house.
It is. I've heard of one of these before. This is magical, is it not? It's kind of cool.
I don't know. I just press a button and it pops up.
It looks to be, and he's touching the drywall or whatever. It looks to be missing about 10 hit points. I've noticed.
Yeah, about that.
Looks like someone laid siege to this at one point in time, and it never forgets. But he kind of looks around and gives you a nod, Kagan. He's like, "Thank you so much for getting me out of there." He's like, "I've got a lot to pass off to you all."
When I was cleaning.
We don't have the time to sit here and wait. What is it that you brought us to? What is it that's so important?
He's like, "Okay," and he whips out and he unfolds what's called an OC chair. Sits it down, and he's like, cracks his back, and he's like, so let's get to this just in case something happens. He's like, I was following a group of Zentarum into the Sunset Mountains. I went in with about, a handful of harpers, and unfortunately we spread out, and I think I expect the worst for the harpers. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I followed the Zentarum into the Sunset Mountains, and they stuck together. There was a man named John Hanna that I know that he's kind of new to the Zentarum, and his skills were not as good, but he's pretty solid. So he stuck to his group, and as I followed them into the Sunset Mountains carefully, they went to what I've discovered as an old Zentarum fortress that, due to the recent calamities, had to be evacuated. I followed them to this place called the Darkhold. It's a small castle. It's outside, maybe 30 miles from the Well of Dragons. They went there, and they kept their distance, and they watched a group of bugbears going in and out. And from what I can only assess, the Darkhold was their where they established themselves until recently. As the security, which I can imagine for a Well of Dragons, is tightening, it looked like the bugbears gave up Darkhold. The Zentarum refit themselves and followed the bugbears into closer to the Well of Dragons. And I can only assume that bad things happened as I waited there, because only John Hanna left, and he seemed to be rather wounded. I watched him leave, but no one went into the Darkhold. I saw him being pursued by what appeared to be like a very powerful bounty hunter. He had these deep red eyes, this great helm, and I snuck into the Darkhold as I thought I was going to be pursued. And I can only imagine that this individual was staying in the Darkhold themselves. Now, the Darkhold, when I was there, was very abandoned. There was a keep. I went into the keep, and as I entered the keep, I felt the presence of whoever this was enter as he like shifted into the keep on this horrific horse that I've never seen before. I carefully ran as fast as I could into what I could assume were the dungeons of Darkhold, which I'm not familiar. I had been walking and walking down a hallway, and I went into various storage rooms. There was these containers and boxes, barrels. I had tried to get behind one of the barrels, and I leaned against one of the there was a tapestry against the wall. As I leaned against it, I found myself on the other side of this tapestry. I could see the barrels. It was so bizarre. I could see the barrels, but I knew I think I was safe. I got to the other side of this tapestry, but behind me.
Did you say that you touched the tapestry and moved?
Yes, as soon as I touched the tapestry, it took me to the other side of this long.
Manu just laughs.
We've gone through one of those before.
Yes, I've heard of them before as well, and I heard tales of. Then honestly, my job is collecting information, and I've heard of your time in the Great Lodge in the Great Peak Mountains. So there I am on the other side of this, and I look around, and it's a caved out, almost circular tunnel, and it piqued my interest. I walked as far as I could, feeling my way in the darkness, until I thought I was far enough away where I could maybe light one of the torches that I had with me. I did my best to light the torch, and I had it covered, and I looked, and it went forever. This cave went just on and on. I felt like I walked for almost a day before I came to a stairway well cut into the ground. I went as far as I could. The door had been open. It was ajar. Like there was something that happened. I went in further, and I felt a terrible presence down there. So I kept as low profile as possible. I pressed through this room, that the lights, there was this aura of purple and green in this room. I doused my torch. I carried on through the room, and I carried on through a passage as long as I could, until I started feeling immense heat. Almost another day later, I had to keep pressing because I knew that I was heading in the direction of the Sunset Mountains, and if I could find something, it was my duty to let anyone know. I made it as far as I possibly could. I continued on until down this long tunnel, I could hear the Drakhorn almost audibly, as if it was echoing down the hall. I have to be honest with you, that's where I started getting really. And he kind of looks down. I don't want to say, but I was frightened. I didn't want to go farther, lest my presence be blown. But I know it. I know for a fact there's a passage this way that will lead into the tunnel. I could feel the heat. I could feel the presence of the Drakhorn, so I returned as quickly as I could. I pressed down back through the tunnel. Foolishly, as quickly as I could. I was getting excited. I wanted to return with this information as quickly as I could. I got back into this weirdly lit room. It was a large rectangular room with doors on either side. When I returned this time, one of the doors was open, and there was like some sort of large machine on the other side, bright green. I could see like bubbles inside this machine as if something was floating in it. I went as fast as I could. There was this large growl, some large, and he kind of points to his ear and he's like, my eardrums burst. Next thing you know, I felt like this I felt this super painful throbbing in my arm as I was running. I grasped my arm by the wrist, but then I held it like a club as I ran as fast as I could back to where I was coming from. I ran and ran as far as I could. I mended myself as best as I could to stop the bleeding. I had worked my way back. I didn't know how long I could have. I needed to get out. I needed to go through the Darkhold, get back to the river, and speedily return. As I burst through the tapestry, foolishly, I ran into all the barrels and everything, and it completely blew my cover. I ran as fast as I could, but this individual tracked me down. He had left me with hill giants as far as I could remember, and I knew what he was doing was leaving me as bait. And then only moments later, maybe, they tried to keep me alive for as long as they could. He was feeding me health potions and making sure that I looked wounded and kicking me about. And that's where the man in yellow, the lizard, and this barbarian met me, and you guys took me to that redoubt where the bugbears were, and I woke up again in Henry's arms. Good old Henry's arms. Henry's stronghold lifted me up out of the waters, and there I was as you mended. And I forgot what arm you meant. There I am. I'm back. So that being said, he's like, I truly believe that through the Darkhold, he's like, I put it together. There was a man long ago who invented the Cult of the Dragons. He's like, I know it. This was Semaster's lair. This was a back way into the Well of Dragons.
Sounds like you made quite a ruckus coming out of there.
I don't think he knows where the tapestry was. I think he thought I was hiding down in a dungeon. So when I made the ruckus, I immediately ran out, so the tapestry couldn't be found.
So you believe the tapestry is still there for you?
Mm-hmm. Someone's got some feedback. Can we check?
It's probably me.
But can you do what now?
So the tapestry. You believe the tapestry is where you first saw it?
Yes. There was like a bunch of boxes, and I weaved my way out of this area. Now, the Warduke could have checked for blood or whatnot, but the Warduke pursued me, and it was only, one evening later before the Warduke was killed. I believe that the Warduke was using this lair for himself. While he was hunting you guys, it seemed like a good funnel for everybody coming in because it's view over that river.
Did he seem like he was protecting it? Does he know of its existence?
Again, I don't know. I know that it was abandoned. I watched the bugbears leaving it as they were collapsing upon the Well of Dragons.
How many days of travel to get there?
In the tunnels? Maybe 2 to 3 days.
To the tunnel.
To the tunnel? That was weird.
That was weird.
Am I here?
You're here and you're. That was strange.
How about now? Yeah. It must have been too many secrets. They shut me down. What was the last question? I'm sorry.
Travel to the tunnel.
To the tunnel from wherever Darkhold was. So it was down in the dungeons of Darkhold, probably. But I would just say if you travel by dragon or fly, it's a day's travel of flying. Maybe a small party, you guys could get there in a week. He says Dungeons and Dragons terms. It's about the amount of time that it would take to make it stressful and arrive there exactly on time if you do it right.
You know, Darkhold is.
You can roll you can select, you can fall back on your history, on your religion, maybe. Yeah, anybody can fall back on I want to give it a perception, let's see, Manu's good at cartography. You guys could.
I'll play.
Hey, can you guys hear Epione?
Yeah, she's a little bit quiet. I think the
Oh, okay. Let's give her a test.
I'm just trying to figure out where if I know where the Darkhold is, based off my background.
What are you gonna roll? Religion or history? Or, I'm not religion, but history. Religion.
It's see. Maybe
Never know.
Hey, 50.
I'm pretty sure Kygon.
Kygon knows a lot about.
Yeah, Kygon
Dark
knows
Lord.
where it is.
Yeah, so
But if I've seen it,
you've never seen it before. You're just hearing about this. So you grew up in Waterdeep, right? I think you Waterdeep, right? Or was it Neverwinter? Yeah, she's from a town. He's from a town. I think it was Waterdeep is where the Acolytes took you. Acolytes. But yeah. So yeah, from Waterdeep, you're growing up praying to Lavanda, formerly known as Lathander in this realm. Now Lavanda. You've never heard of the Darkhold. You're kind of familiar with the amount of like landscapes and stuff like that. You probably know where the Sunset Mountains are. When they mentioned the Well of Dragons, you're like, you're probably like, yeah, there's probably could be, but that's not true. But you've never heard of Darkhold. Your days in the underground. Oh, you don't really remember that. You were a baby when you got extracted from there and pushed down the river Styx in a little basket. Daikini baby. Yeah. But yeah, that was the Avernus. The underground for you was a whole different plane of existence. How are we doing with sound? Can you hear okay? I tried adjusting the mic.
Yeah, I think the what is it, the threshold for her for it to hear her.
We can scooch. Now we're scooching. This will be better.
Like it feels like it's the noise canceling part of it. Like it's blocking some of her out. I'm not totally sure.
Okay, how about now? That's
Talk louder.
hello.
See, that worked.
All right, I'll use my big boy voice.
Use your army voice. What was that police academy? You know that police academy where there was that girl and she didn't like. Krista has a beautifully soft voice, so it's okay. We'll work through it, everybody. If anybody has any questions, just put it in chat. Be like, huh? And then we'll get to it. All right. So there he is. He described to you a potential. You guys are looking for different avenues. Here's another avenue. So which lets you guys kind of know, like, hey, you got the right guy out of there. He does have a good idea. Kygon, this would be a good time probably for you to be like, yeah, I'm familiar with the Darkhold. You've been to Elturel like one time before. You don't know it that well, because it's like the big city. You went there and maybe exchanged something at some point in time, and you're like, ew, and you went back along your way. So you know the rough distance, and timing of how far it is to get there if you were to go by peds.
And how far do I know it is?
Yes. Yeah, probably if you guys were to walk, it would take you, I don't know, a 10-day to get there on foot. Go ahead and roll we'll say a perception check. Hang on.
24.
Oof. Okay. Jeez. What was the regular roll on that one? What was the?
I rolled 16 and I have +6.
Gee, good job. 16 plus. Yeah. All right.
22.
So you know that you guys can huff it. If you guys got refit, you got Daryl and Daisy ready to go and started smoking at my feet, you probably get there in about 10 days. Boop boop beep boop. 3 days of travel inside the, without any issues. You could get there, get to Darkhold, and get by whatever this is. You do know though that 10 days of travel through where you guys just went, like Connor barely made it, right? So you know that you needed Steve to get you to where you were, and there was a adult green dragon covering that area, and the closer you get, there's other denizens in that area, to include the ancient dragons that have a lot of awareness as you get closer. But you do know that Darkhold was looking pretty vacant, and you know that despite that its ominous name or whatnot, no one's really messing with it because they're collapsing. You saw when you got there, well, what's his face isn't here, Argent, but you do know that the redoubts that are closer to, the final part, the most northern parts of the Sunset Mountains, that's where they're keeping to. They're keeping the patrols tight, and killing those bugbears makes their perimeter even tighter, right? So you took out a bunch of bugbears that were probably used for security. There, that's a good 24 roll.
It was 22.
Okay. Yeah, the DC was 3. But anyways, you killed it. Good job. How we doing? All right. Yeah.
How far? Do we know how far the armies are from Elturel at this point?
He's like, yeah, that's something. As he feels like a weird ghost pain, he's rubbing his arm. He's like, yeah. So the armies are, generally speaking, on the north. See, you can tell he's very good at what he does. He's like, the armies are keeping themselves to the northern parts of the northern side of the Well of Dragons. That's the easiest approach to it. They're using the caldera itself as the high ground around the well. He's like, now the back side of the well, it is protected. That's where there may or may not be some avenues of approach into the caldera. He's like, but that's where he said he saw our Vatrix. That's where she was. Why do I want to say roosting? That just ancient white dragon roosting in the back side of the mountain. So he's like, that wouldn't be wise. Lenithon sits on the top of the caldera, keeping his eyes in and around, and they both kind of fly about. The black dragons, there's an ancient black dragon that I know was in the area at one point in time, but remains inside the caldera for whatever reason. The other adult dragons are kept on patrols, flying around, and the young ones are doing young things in and around the area, passing messages and whatnot. He's like, I can tell you, before I left, during one of my scouts, as I was laying on top of with the hill giants, I was able to notice one of the last evenings there just torches filled the north as a long streaming line of what I could only presume to be. As I watched this new army come in, I saw the Red Legion of hobgoblins arrive. So they did come down from the north. There was about 400 full plate mailed hobgoblins in this red plate mail, and they were riding wargs and had these tall lances.
Weren't they from Vandalin? North of Vandalin?
They could be. They were running into the the Neverwinter Forest or whatever's up there. I don't know.
The Cragmaw Keep.
Yeah, those guys.
The Cragmaw Keep hobgoblins.
Yeah, I think this is the main army. So those were patrols of the Red Lancers, but this is, this was
the full guys.
Yeah, so they're all collapsing. He said he's gonna, he's like, I saw banners of the Many Arrows tribe. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Orcs. So they're there as well, and endless seas of undead. He's like, I can tell you, when you look at the Well of Dragons, it looks like it's shimmering. And like just insects covering it. It looks like it's constantly in motion from the amount of cultists and undead that are around it. He's like, I would not recommend trying to get the caldera itself to sneak in. But you guys are the Avengers, so or the Duchy of Skyreach.
Question not for Rainier though. How far is the Cormyr army? How far out from Elturel, or did we establish that?
He's like, I'm not sure.
No, I'm asking. Did we establish that? Not of Rainier.
Yeah,
Just
so
I'm asking you.
20 days is when everybody has to arrive at the Well of Dragons. So Sir Estebal and his queen are marching there, and they went calm out at some point in time, and they're using their wizards to, what do they call it? The war wizards or whatever.
Okay. So Cormyr is heading towards the caldera, towards the well right now, and the rest of the armies that we have in Elturel, we have to make our way that way. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
So
it's like that's the whole point of arriving at that time.
Gotcha.
Because they have to arrive. Aldar Ravengard was like, when he was trying to pitch to you guys. Remember? Yeah, I think who was here? Connor, blah blah blah. Anyway, so Aldar Ravengard has been saying, hey, we need to get this plan before Dagalt arrives, because Dagalt is gonna come up with a good idea fairy thing and like muck it up.
Yep, I just wanted to verify that we're not waiting for Cormyr to show up in Elturel before we press out. We are pressing out. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So if we press out with the armies, then we should be moving in what? 3 or 4 days?
Yes. Yeah, roughly. Based on Aldar's thing, he's like, as soon as the main body arrives and the rear guard arrives, we're gonna give the rear guard 3 days of rest and leave.
And then press out.
We'll say like 4 or 5 days of all the army kind of converging.
Sending the army in before us to clear this tunnel?
They've got to move at the pace of an army. No, not the tunnel? No, they can't make it to the tunnel. That's on the backside of Sunset Mountains. The army is going to go follow the Choanthar River straight to the Well of Dragons, which is north of the mountains. So there's open plains, the well, the Sunset Mountains. You guys, you know what I mean? Like, they're recommending you guys sneak your way into the tunnel or into the caldera at exactly the time that the army arrives. That's what Aldar wants.
Sure.
So basically, we're using the army as a distraction.
Yes, that's what Aldar was hinting at through Connor.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense to
try to sneak through. We're gonna try to stealth our way through the tunnel to get to the tapestry.
We just need to get to the tapestry, so we need to get to Darkhold. and that would take, what did we say, a week to get there.
If you want to walk there, yeah.
Do we have?
You said I didn't know where it was, didn't you?
You don't know where Darkhold is. Doesn't mean you can't. You know what I mean? Like, you know, roll a perception insight check. But yeah, it just doesn't mean you can't learn more about it. You know.
Argent's not here. Argent has seen it from afar, but that's it.
I mean, I could probably do. What's it called? I could probably take us there.
Can you?
Insight check.
Ooh, it's got warm outside, didn't it? Just me? Yeah, I'm like roasting. Azizus.
Made it this week.
Fine insight check on where we're trying to go. The dark.
So what does it take to scry?
Concentration.
Yeah, but what are the things that you need to know to scry? That's what your 25 is, right? Like, what do you need to do? What do you need to have? What can you use to scry, maybe be in the area, and then you can potentially bamf people if you want to.
You said I know the area. Would my knowledge of the area help her scribe?
Let's see. Do you think that El Kaigon would have snooped around up there? Is that within your, when, you know, as you're patrolling doing barbarian things, you think you would have snooped around up there?
Is there a well-known creature that I know up there?
Warduke's body's there. Does she know him?
Nope, she didn't go. She didn't see any of that stuff.
I was gonna say, we don't have to get to Darkhold. We have to get near Darkhold.
Would you roll a
What about?
You can always scout the scout.
You know what about Lantoris? When he did the escort mission for
Lantoris stayed at the base of the Sunset Mountains in a tree line. He was never in there.
Okay.
Yep. So when
What about
he came out, you picked him
Steve
up.
the Dragon?
Does
Can we?
Thing is,
okay. What about Steve? Henry, you're there.
Steve the Dragon. Yeah. So Steve the Dragon was there. He saw. Can you do some of that cool?
The issue is she's got to be able to see it.
no, it could be second
Can she do some Vulcan mind pinch thing? You know.
Yep.
on your roll.
Okay, she got it. I like spells. All right, so read it. What do you want to do? Is Kaigon seen? So, do you have to go to the tapestry?
Second,
Yeah.
see a particular creature that I choose, but I think you roll because it's a +5 for knowing it secondhand.
Figure it out. So, who can see? So, yeah, I guess if you want to do this, what are you going to use to go there to see it? Who, you know what I mean? Like,
Who knows most about him?
because you want to see currently, right? You want to see this place.
What's his name? Igon?
Kaigon. Yeah, that's your buddy right there. Yeah.
Who's the NPC who was just in this tunnel? He was right here. Who just told us all about it. So I know all about it.
Renier.
Yes.
Oh,
Rainier.
there we go.
You just told me all about this tunnel.
Sure did. Yeah.
Let me hold your hand as I scry on this guy who is chasing you.
Nice.
Whoa, that's weird. Okay, cool. Your camera's like flipped or something. I don't know. That freaked me out. All right, so yeah. Okay. So you're doing what now? Trying to get you're extracting his memory.
Description of the tunnel and this guy he just told us about.
Okay.
So, target is unaffected and can't use. Okay. Okay, so I'm scrying. And apparently, a wisdom.
Can you speak up? Can you guys hear?
Wisdom roll.
On the ward, you're scrying on Warduke is what you wanna.
Yes.
Okay. See where Warduke's at, everybody. Yeah.
Roll one.
Oof. I
Wait.
can roll 1, you said? A 2.
Oh, 7. If
Okay.
you get plus 5,
Okay.
it gets me. So I'm successfully scrying on him.
Oh, okay.
Without
All right.
him knowing.
Right. So you sit there in Darren's tower. They describe to you as best they can. Warduke, they described it. You guys took all his clothes off him and things, and left him basically for dead. You try your best with this roll.
I want to see him and where he is.
Okay.
And get familiar of the surroundings and if he is in the same vicinity of this tunnel.
Okay. So you sit there, you concentrate. She's sitting in the, she sits down a little bit on the platinum pile that's there. She's like, shh, everybody, 1 second, and she does whatever. She expends her spell slot. So she expends her spell slot, and you breathe in. You guys see her, get tense for a second, and then she relaxes. As you are sitting there, your eyes are closed into darkness, and you start seeing the light of Elturel. You come up over top of this, orb that's over top of the city. You climb up, and your essence, your aura, whatever, your spirit just rushes into the east. Yep, into the east, where you go over top of the Sunset Mountains. You climb into this dark, ashen clouds again that you've seen before in Phandalin, which appears. You see this huge, plume of steam coming out of this volcano in the distance, and then you race in as streams of like white streaks pass you by, and you rush into this barren landscape as you see this half-naked man with no hair, scars all over his face, and you see over his shoulder he's taking one step at a time. He's got these one furry boot and one steel boot, and he's just, he's got this very defeated walk as he's walking to the south. See him taking deep breaths in. His eyes, he's covering up his face as much as he can, as you see this just sickening scarred face, like a leather strap over his chest, and just a loincloth. He's moving slowly. He looks around. He lifts up his head, and you can see in the distance the three dark spires of a castle. As he's walking, as you race back into your form, or into your, as you.
Does this look like anything I saw when I was walking to Nirvana? Look like anything like that?
Can't remember what Nirvana said. Yeah, you saw a very fuzzy, grainy, 5-6 large, spires coming out of the center of the volcano, but this is not the same. And I made it very grainy so that you couldn't see something to teleport into there without falling into lava. But this is not the same place.
As she comes out, I making a dex save to not disturb her while standing on the pile of and I rolled a 2.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sitting there, and it brings you out. It brings you out, you know, at the right time. But you saw. Yeah. You're like, damn it! But you know.
Shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's too
You
much
saw
money in here.
Dark hold.
Playing around, Manu.
Yeah. You sit there like,
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think we wanted to go there, but I just saw a pit of a volcano and some spires that I've never seen before.
That is not what you just saw. So you saw a castle outside in the Sunset Mountains. You saw 3 dark spires and like
Coming
a.
out.
Nope. So that was what Nirvana showed you.
Kidding.
Slow your mind. Too many minds. So Nirvana gave you an image of the inside of the caldera. Chapter 2. You just scried on the Warduke.
Yes.
The Warduke is outside, walking in a barren wasteland. He's humping. He looks up, and you see the base of another castle.
And spires.
And 3 spires. Lots of castles have spires.
The volcano.
In this circumstance, just hang on with me. This is another. We're describing a whole nother thing. Don't hurt yourself.
You dropping into lava.
Yeah, you might. Okay. Yes, I did. That's what Nirvana showed you. And I mentioned that I made that scenario kind of grainy so that you couldn't teleport into the caldera without much difficulty. When you just scried on this individual, the Warduke, right? This is a whole different vision.
Here. Seeing a castle. Journeys.
He looks at everybody else in the, across the room like, is she serious? Like, yes, I went into the castle, and that's where the tapestry was.
Saw this castle.
Excellent. We did it, everybody. Okay. So. Yikes.
Manu pulls out a latte and hands it to Epione. Like, here, have this.
Yes.
I just happen to have a latte machine in the back here.
In Darren's tower.
Yeah.
You do now.
That surprised a lot out of me.
Ooh, sure did. Yeah. There's a bit of trauma, so you mix the two up. There's lots of spires going on right now. You were trying to discover where Darkhold was by finding Warduke, who was holding up there. You found Warduke. He was walking back towards it, very, very painfully and very defeated.
I'm confident that I can get us to. Does this castle have a name?
Anybody want to help her out?
It's Darkhold.
Dark.
It's Darkhold. Hold on. Let me see if Mono remembers.
This is great.
A 9.
Yeah, no. Manu, you have no idea, because you've never been to Darkhold. Kaigon? You want to help her out?
Near here.
Okay, let me just get you through this. You specifically asked to find out where Darkhold was. Yes. You were like, I want to do research. And Kaigon helped you out. I don't know what just happened. You rebooted, but you're back. Somewhere in there, you blue screen and came back out.
Inside.
Yes. Yep, Darkhold achieved.
Well, it's perfect. When do you guys want to leave?
Zixis, you walk up. You're walking towards Unthar Frume's, the Twin Black Antlers, where you're supposed to meet up tonight to do some mission planning with everybody, and you see Darren's tower in the middle of this, which you've seen Darren's tower before inside the when you guys fought a Chardalon. You see it, so like, without much insight or whatever, you imagine that your party is inside Darren's tower.
Okay, so Darren's tower is in.
Yeah, you're walking towards the Twin Black Antlers, and inside the High Garden, you see Darren's tower just kind of sitting there.
Okay.
So you're assuming that they're at the tree fort. They're at Fort Avenue.
Gotcha. So I need to go link up with the party.
If you'd like, I'm just giving you the option, or you can do paladin things.
No, I'll go link up with the party.
Okay.
So I'll move in there.
You walk up to a 30-foot tower with these arrow slits that are in there. You can't see who's in there, but there's an ominous arrow slits that are about like 6 feet, 5-6 feet tall. And, there's a parapet on the top of it, and you see a door on the outside.
Okay, entering the door.
You go to the side of the door. It doesn't open.
Oh, all right. Back to one of the slits. Let me take a peek. Let me take a peek inside and see what's going on in there.
Yeah. You see, Manu, you guys can roll a perception check if you want.
20.
What's your passive perception?
My passive is 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you see a shadow of like a dude with a helm, kind of like poking around outside.
I'm going to yell out through the slit. We don't want any.
Lantaurus, you hear this as well as you're kind of warforging your way. Up there, you see, a paladin like peeping Tomming through Darren's tower, and you hear Manu like harassing him.
This is a private party.
So Lantaurus is outside with me.
Yeah.
All right.
But
go to
if you want, Manu, I was just making it a little bit more Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's just go to the Thirsty Goat and grab some drinks, Lantaurus.
You could.
I don't drink much, but sure.
You can always knock.
Yeah. Epione thaumaturge the door open.
Yeah, I recognize the building for what it is and say, yeah, no, we're good. I got all access pass.
Yep, so there they are. The room is now tighter as you guys all Lantaurus' 35mm toy walks in amongst the 28mm. There, so you guys are all linked up. That's what I'm trying to do. So you guys are all in the same spot. You see Epione there describing, talking back and forth with Rainier Neverember. Basically, is this the tower? Is this what it looks like? And they're like, yes, that was Darkhold. Yes. It's like, okay. Are you sure there weren't spires in a volcano? No, that was it. This was outside the volcano, and you kind of hear that going on.
So it sounds like we need to formulate our plan for the army, and then get beat feet towards Darkhold. Is what I'm gathering.
Based off what I saw in my scry with pre-digitation, I want to try to create the same image as like a hologram.
Okay. Because you're building this thing, right? Let's do like an intelligence check, an intelligence throw. Let's see. What do I want to say right now? It's been a minute.
Oh, I don't think it's more.
Trying to recall this thing though, right?
Minor magical trick that common spellcasters use before.
Okay.
You can create a non-magical trinket or an illusion
Illusionary.
Image that can fit in your hand and that lasts until the end of your turn.
So, yeah, go ahead and cast that, and you can.
So this is
2 spells. Just saying. But go ahead. Tracking.
Prestidigitation is a cantrip.
Cantrip? Alright, sorry.
So this is the castle, and I show you guys, and I turn it around, 360 it. Do you guys know?
Rainier's like, yes, that's it. That is Darkhold. Yep.
And I look at Manu looks at Rainier and says, "And you say there's a magical tapestry in there?"
It's like you can't. He's like, you go, you take a left, you take a right. I was running, and I went into the cellars/dungeons. You'll see a bunch of old barrels, empty barrels, and casks and things. It was pretty well rummaged through. You just keep walking to the back of this thing. There's a big pile of stuff. I worked my way to hide. I leaned against the wall, and there was what I thought was just a regular old tapestry, and whoop, I ended up on the other side.
Wonderful.
Yes, it saved my life.
I love tapestries.
It's like I can't really describe the tapestry, but it looked like.
I pull out my tapestry and I go, "Whew, did it look like this?"
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
Fun. Oh, okay. Fun. So you see this? Everybody sees this tapestry. It looks like a forest on it.
We found that one to go.
Yeah, I forget what's like. No, it was up in that Parnast Lodge, up in Grey Peak.
Yeah, it was when we went up for the Sky Reach.
Yeah. I think so. You guys fought a helmed horror in the room.
Yes.
He black tentacled you guys big time,
and then we popped him into the tapestry and sent him away.
Yeah, so that's right. He's wandering aimlessly somewhere in the Great Peak Mountains, just like killing small children and stuff.
Oh no, you brought him back.
I did. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Wasn't there a big giant troll there as well with like 9 arms?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Periton nests, lots of stuff.
So do we finish our evening and head out to the party?
I think we need to.
I believe before we were coming into this room, Epione was on her way to get a drink.
Agreed. We need to. I know we need to disperse our plan for the armies to Uldar before Dagult shows up and before we leave out for Darkhold. Yes? Concur? Everybody? Yeah? I think that's the important thing we do in the next. I think we have to leave in like 2 days, probably, to get to Darkhold and then get through the tunnel before everybody else gets there at the same time. But we need to pass that plan for the armies before we do that.
So has Tiamat already arrived, or are we trying to stop her from arriving?
Oh, we're trying to stop her.
Okay.
But we have to time everything perfectly so that our armies show up at the same time as us showing up in the caldera. But we have to have a plan prior to pressing forward.
So what do we have to do? Like, what's our job to keep her from arriving or whatever? Like, how does that work?
We don't completely.
How are we going to stop her from getting here?
We don't completely know yet. We just know where it's going to happen.
So we don't know how she like creates her little portal or whatever. Like,
no.
Is it like some kind of summon, like a bunch of monks or something doing a chant, or we don't know any of that?
It's possible.
Okay. Oh, we just lost Tim and Epione.
Everybody will take a 5-minute break, and then when they come back, we'll go live again. So, everybody on the stream, we'll see you back in 5 minutes.
Whoopsie daisy. Okay. All right. Blame the internet gods. All right. So, you guys are all back at the tower.
Yes. And so we need to come up with a plan for the armies to give to Uldar prior to us leaving town for Darkhold, correct? That's...
Yes, you know that everybody was going to converge at the... We're back. All right. So everybody's back, and you guys know that Uldar Ravengard and Onthar Frume were trying to get back to the twin black antlers, the pair of black antlers, to plan this big, like, how it's going to be done so that when the main army arrives, you can just brief Dagalt, Neverember, and Lady Lariel, etc., and be like, this is the plan, this is the best plan, and, you know, so that they don't have time to,
right,
you know, assemble the bureaucrats and make things kind of painful.
So we probably need to do that, and then we need to figure out a way to get to Darkhold ahead of the armies.
We can teleport there.
Can we?
That's why I just scried, so I could see, so I could become familiar with.
Or at least get us close to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. I say we go. I say we go inside then. We kind of have our mission for where we need to go. Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
Then let's go see what's going on with Oldar and Frume. They're always a fun group to play with.
Okay, so you guys want to head out? You guys want to all Kaigon you in? You want to go with this party? So Kaigon, this is a good opportunity as kind of a new player or whatnot. If there's any questions that you have, if there's any overarching like thing that you need to know when you've got this group of kind of new compatriots, it seems that they trust you. They let you in the tower, so you kind of feel like this might be a good opportunity to, ask any questions. What's our trajectory? What's our overall end state, or anything like that that you think that you'd want to ask?
Yeah, I think those are the questions I was asking when you fell off the internet.
Oh, okay. Great. Today's fantastic. Sometimes you have a good session, sometimes you have to pay. All right, so you're in Darren's tower. It's covered in platinum. What do you? Can you fill me in on some things that you asked that can help me out?
Just asking how we're supposed to try to stop Tiamat from spawning or bouncing into here, or how the gate's going to get open for her to arrive, and that kind of thing. Which it doesn't seem like we know any of that yet. So
yeah, the answer is we don't know. We just know we have to get there and stop whatever it is.
I believe that there is a ritual that it was going to occur in the 20 days before we. This is why we need to be there so soon. That's going to bring Tiamat back. We need to try to prevent that ritual from happening.
Yes.
And there's lots of things being sacrificed. That's
right.
And that's been happening for.
You saw during the vision from Nirvana, you saw rows and rows of shackled, Faerunians, Earthlings, being humanoids and stuff being chucked into, the lava in the caldera.
Things being sacrificed.
And what do sacrifices do? What are the sacrifices for? Does anybody remember?
That it makes the portal. It's the souls required to
Tiamat?
To bring her out, to make the portal weaker.
So
or
inside your bag of holding as well, you know that you guys pushed all that knowledge from Wrath Modar when you ran into him. You went into his, and he had all those books and stuff like that, the describing stuff. So you guys are fairly familiar with, back in the day, you're like, I don't know who Zariel is, but we know that that's the devil being dealt with to release this god into our realm. She doesn't want him there. It's not necessarily he's a nuisance or she's a nuisance. It's just, I'd rather, if I want more power here, having this other deity rolling around the Avernus is kind of pain in her butt, for lack of better words. So, you guys, say the magic word or whatever. Darren's tower opens up. You guys can hear in the distance, as it's about getting close to what, the Faerun 8 o'clock, where you hear like a bing dang, a bing ding dang, a bing dang, a ding dang, just for Henry. And you can hear, apparently the 3 Barovians that are playing music inside Elturel, as everybody across the realm is, refugeeing to.
Did we lose you again?
Looks like it.
Seems so.
Gamblers on a sign.
guys froze up there for a bit.
Are we back again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab a platinum piece, one platinum piece, hold it in my hand before I close up Darren's tower and chuck it into the bag of holding.
Okay. Nice. So there you are. You see Darren sitting where he was on the outside, and kind of watches you guys, walk up. But he's, the older elf paladin. Order of the Gauntlet, and it's crowded inside the Twin Black Antlers. As you can see, there's various from the outside in. You can see, standing in the area, a bunch of dudes with, reddish maroon capes, in white capes and surcoats and stuff like that. With various, mainly you see a lot of Order of the Companion guys in there, but then you do see a few Order of the Gauntlets. You walk in and you can hear in the distance the large, bellowing laughter of, Onthar Frume, a large human male with a big red, beard.
Wow.
Beard. This guy from over the shoulder of a really large, dark-skinned man with a big cut down his eye, and you can see, he's got this, the same thing. He's got a nice sleek cape down his back with a flaming fist.
As we walk in, I'm gonna put my hand on Darren's shoulder and it's like, Darren, it's good to see you. Can I offer you a drink?
Oh, Manu. He's like, he's got, what did it? I think in the last episode he passed off some elven ale or elven wine to you guys, but you could see he's got like a very tall. It's almost like a flute, but it's got a basin on the bottom, and it's got various like silver leaves coming up, and he's like, no, I think I'm all set here, and he goes to like grab a cup of it and pours it into you, and he's like, careful with this, and he hands it off to you. He's like, it's really good.
It's like, I just toss it back and I get, it's like, thanks, I'll bring you another one.
So yeah, it's very, very delicious. It's very like, it's got an acidic texture to it, but it's like it's pretty good.
Nice. Well, thanks, sir. I'm gonna walk. So I'm walking in. I'm walking straight up to the bar, and I'm throwing the platinum piece on the bar, and I go, "This should cover everybody for tonight."
He's like, "Oh, many, many blessings to you, dear Manu," and he kind of like trying to, when looking at both eyes at the same time. The bartender's just trying to track on you, and then
I just
hands off the silver piece, and
I just blink both eyes this time.
You hear from behind you, Manu, and I forgot which voice I was using for Unthar Frume, but it's gonna just be this one, and he's just like, come on now, and waves you over, and he looks over and he's like, oh, Epione, and he points off to the side and makes like a gesture to there's like a back room, and he's like, an Oldar Raven Guard kind of looks and he nods and raises a tankard, and he's like, come on, and he walks you guys, like there's a business room of sorts in the back of the Twin Black Antlers, and they're clearing stuff out and they're moving tables around. There's a couple other paladins sitting there. You see Rhea, Rhea's in there, Rhea Moonbeam, something. She's a Hell Rider, and she's kind of moving herself against the back wall, and she's like, oh, hi. Looks over at you, Zesis. She's like, sir. And, you guys come on in, and, she bows gracefully when Henry walks in. She's like, Your Eminence. And Namaste. Yes, Namaste.
The last time we were here, Gavin was happened to be here. Is he around? Passive
Gavin?
perception.
Oh, wait, Gavin?
Gavin.
Gavin? Passacor Gavin?
Yeah, Passacor Gavin.
Okay, go ahead and roll for that.
Yeah,
You
probably.
can roll with advantage.
Gonna need that. Probably not. Perception 15.
You're looking for passive roar.
Well,
You can roll for advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 15.
No, you're not feeling.
Okay.
You're not feeling his presence in Elturel.
Gotcha.
The first thing you realize is like that's a 2DC. It's not a real chill place for a fiend to be rolling around without like someone being keyed in on that.
What is it? No, that was in Phandalin was where we saw him last.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was here.
Okay.
Or we did see him here.
Maybe when we get closer, he may appear, though.
You can.
No, I was just making sure. I was just seeing. It's like, is he here? I remember the last time we were making plans. He was sitting in the corner. It's like, is he around?
Yeah. Tygon, you're in there as well. You're almost like most, humans are about like you're pretty tall for a dwarfish / orc for a dwarf. So like you're cruising through there. You're not getting too many side eyes or anything that you would expect being an Elturel. You feel a part of this team, and you see them slowly doing the hero walk into this, business room, one after the other. Epione, reaches and nods over at Unthar, and he kind of takes Epione off to the side. Darren is walking next to you. He actually comes up, and you can tell he's got an affinity for how, awkward you may or may not feel, and he kind of just walks up next to you, and he's like, "This is our dear friend Kygon," and he kind of breaks the ice for you, and he kind of places his hand on your back and kind of gives you a nod, as if he's gonna stay by your side. You do get a good feeling that he's kind of a relaxing soul to be around. But Darren, not to be confused with all the other names that rhyme, but Darren comes with you guys, and he comes in and he gestures you into the room. There's only like 2 or 3 chairs, but there's a large table in the center, and the door kind of shuts behind you. Rhea Moonshadow decides to pull guard outside. She's like, "Guys, I'll be right outside, making sure that nobody's dropping no eaves on us," and heads outside. She kind of moves out of the side as Lantoris like, I don't know, this is how you sound in my mind. You're like, robot sounds. And you sit in there and you cyborg your way, and Oldar's like, he's like, "Thank you very much, everybody, for arriving." He's like, you can tell that he hasn't even drank yet. Like, so he's holding the mug. He's being very, very stoic, very to the point. And he looks around. He's like, "I hope you guys have had time to maybe have some discussions." He's like, "Last we met, he's like, I can give you the order of battle or what we assess, what we're up against. But the bottom line is the armies need to meet in precisely 19-ish days." And he's got a note in his hand. He's like, Dagnabbit Waybeard had just arrived with her soldiers from the Mythical Halls, which means Rainier, and you see Rainier's in there as well. He's like, "Rainier's father will be here shortly." He's like, and if you don't mind, Rainier, and he looks like dead in Rainier's eyes, like, "It would behoove us to have this plan solid the moment Dagalt arrives, so that things don't derail." He's like, "What I'm suggesting is somehow you guys find your way stealthily at the point of the summoning." And he looks over at Unthar for a minute. He's like, Unthar's like, "Yes, I think we're tracking that there's going to be summoning for Tiamat. We'll do our best to distract the armies on the outside, but we cannot have Tiamat arrive because it's over. So in about 20 days, hopefully we're all converging at the same time. We're praying to Tyr and Helm and Torm and Lavanda that you guys are in there while we're on the outside. We'll do our best to fight to you. Well, you don't know how that's gonna work." He's like, "Thankfully the World Enclave arrived and given their support, so we'll be able to push back as many wizards as we can. If we don't arrive at the same time, Cormyr will be cut to pieces, and the war wizards will be lost, and we'll be hurting. So we need to get moving in about 4 or 5 days." Oldar's like, so looks at you, Blantoris and Henry, and he's just like looks around the room. And he's like, so, do you guys have a plan? Manu, you don't have to be. You know what I mean? Your character doesn't have to be. We don't have to go down the grog route with this. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to, add something or whatever, you guys can do that.
Like, I was just gonna. It's like Darkhold.
Darkhold. And he looks around. You see that he's kind of unfamiliar. He's like, isn't that a place? He kind of like looks and he's talking to one of his lieutenants. He's like, isn't that a place we used to?
I'm gonna do my thaumaturgy thing again, or I'm gonna do my hologram.
Okay.
Of the castle again.
All right. So like, this, ghostly looking castle with 3 tall spires, one taller than the other. It's just very like clean looking, circular, cylindrical spires, about like 60 feet tall, but just enough where they can see into the horizon, kind of around, maybe in a dark, for security. They're not ominous or anything like that. It's just a castle, with a keep, and it's got 3 towers, and they happen to be dark, and there's a hold. That's the keep. So it makes sense. There's nothing really fantastic about it. It's just nestled up against the mountains. And he's like, and you can tell, like, Oldar Ravengard, having worked in Baldur's Gate and with their trade, he's like, I used to be a Zentarum stronghold. Long ago, we used to do some trade there. As he kind of looks over at Unthar, and Unthar Frume kind of outrolls his eyes, and he's like, that's miles, and that's miles from that. So what's Darkhold have anything to do with this?
Is Rainier in here with us?
Rainier's in there.
So
Believe
I will explain that we have an idea.
Okay.
We have a bit of intel that's given us an insight check for me. Is it safe to talk in here?
Yep, go ahead.
And my insight check is 11.
You can see the shadow of, in the crack of the door, Rhea sitting there, but it's a room and it's really loud outside. So like, you could probably speak without anybody hearing you. You feel reasonably, safe that no one's listening. There's no windows in this room either, and it's on the ground floor. You get a feeling that there's nothing below you either.
Okay, I'll spill the beans. We got an idea. We got some intel that Darkhold is the key to getting in.
He's like, okay. So you guys have. He's like, please don't. You know what I mean? He's like, just in case. So you have a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a plan.
And you can arrive roughly on the 14th of Brumiere on the.
Yeah, we can coordinate the Tiamat.
Okay.
And be there. Let us finish out the details of this. If you want to accompany us back to Darren's place, we can talk. Yeah, the one that just showed up over there.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit more in detail, but for now,
even I don't want to know the details. You could tell he's a pretty smart, like, general. He's like, I don't want to know the details, just in case.
Okay.
But so you found a way into the caldera is what he's concerned with. It's like, okay.
Yes.
He's like, very well.
We think so.
He lays out this plan, when he's like, as soon as Daygalt arrives, he's like, all I'm looking to is we'll hold a private session with Daygalt, and we just need to stay all on the same page.
Yeah. And
okay. He's like, Daygalt should be arriving tomorrow.
Okay.
He's like,
so
is there anything else that you need to know from me?
Give us an idea of your troop strength. Don't need the numbers right now.
what can we assume is having our back?
He's like, clearly, there's not a lot of metallic dragons left. They'll be used to protect the army as it advances. He's like, we've got roughly, 20 to 30,000 soldiers here, as long as the main army stays intact. And then we're running into will be Cormier probably has close to 10 to 15,000 soldiers themselves. If we arrive at the right time, if we arrive together, the armies of the evil armies in the Well of Dragons won't advance out. So if we move quickly, we may not win, but the distraction will happen as planned.
What's the strength of our mages and druids?
He's like, there's roughly 50 druids. There are, with Elturel and the Order of the Gauntlet, and he looks over to Unthar Frume, and he's like, the clerics. Unthar's like, we got roughly 100 healers, but we're going to keep them with the army. The druids and the clerics will disperse into the companies and battalions as we move along and heal who we can. In terms of wizards, in terms of other spellcasters, we've got the, he kind of shakes his head. We've got the spell guard from Silvery Moon that will arrive shortly with the main body, and then the 20 from Luskan. Without the war wizards in Cormier will be woefully overmatched by the spellcasters in the Dragon Cult and the necromancers and these Thayans. We do have Nigh Ilmich with us, so I've heard, arriving with Lady Lariel. Right? Did the Thayan come with you guys to, or is she coming with?
I think one of them did. Yes. Yeah.
Are they at Elturel? Is there a Thayan just walking around in Highgarden right now?
That I don't know. I don't think that happened.
Okay. So she's back with Lady Lariel, and she'll bamf in. But there's the Red Wizard surprise that we may or may not have. But Dial Mitch, we'll walk with the army. We'll walk with the army, and summon Red Wizards as well. So. There's the battle on the outside. It looks pretty equally matched, but what's on the inside will turn the tide if you guys fail. If the armies didn't march at the same time, you would be overwhelmed by mobs inside the caldera. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So everything kind of has to be timed. It's like we want to have enough show to draw out Lenithon, Arvatorix, etc., and get into the fight. Of course, we have Protanther at our side as well. And Eleuthera. Eleuthera's coming tomorrow, which is a ancient brass dragon? Something like that. Anybody, is this moving too fast for anybody? Kaigon, how you doing? Like you're listening to all this stuff. Yeah, you've came out of the forest, and you're hearing all this stuff. He's on a bar napkin kind of drawing out. He's like, yeah, we'll march the columns, very pomp and circumstance, straight to the well, get as much attention as possible. Hopefully we can draw out as many chromatic dragons and smite them mightily along the way. So he's like, if the cult decides to march out towards us, the more the merrier, right? And you guys can do that whole Lord of the Rings, sneak in when the armies leave kind of situation. Neverember's like, what's Lord of the Rings? But anyways. He's like, see, this gets me.
I was just about to make a roll. Does Manu know Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Probably does.
Interestingly enough, it looks a lot like this area. Yeah.
This is Mordor.
He's like, so, for lack of, he's just like, so, Unthar's like, well, let's just take the celebration back outside, or do you want to stay in here? And he whistles loudly, and Rhea's like, "Oh, are we done?" Opens it up, and they bring in like she had ready. Like there's this large, like goose and things like that, and he starts ripping off legs and just starts like nomming on it. And Manu like throws you a big, turkey leg, and you guys just start like crushing food. He looks over at Kaigon as like you got like the orc thing going, but there's like a Doberman's amount of drool just like coming straight down, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And there's like a big thing of mutton and bread and stuff like that, and he's just crushing food. You can tell Ontar Frume loves calories. He's a big fan of gluten, and he's just crushing it. I don't know I can't remember what you eat at Bione, but there's a lot of meaty, night food here. Yeah. Breads, hunks of bread, stuff like that. And he's just like, "We got cheese." You want cheese?
Meat and cheese.
Meat and cheese. And there's like copper plates being tossed around. There's this plate, and it's got like a rooster on the center of it. You know what I mean? He hands it over to you. Looks kind of like rusty.
I'm gonna sidle up next to Oldar and ask him.
He sits down, and he kind of unbuckles a pauldron, like. Oof. It's like.
I just whisper into his ear, like, "What's up with these companion dudes?"
He's like, "I don't know." Kind of like whispers in. He's just like, I mean, they seem like they want to impress people. Am I gonna let them charge first? Absolutely. And he kind of like leans back and he's like, "I'm gonna find them the glory that they seek. Trust me." And like he goes like this because you guys met before, and he winks at you.
I tap him on the shoulder and I wink back and I go, I like the sound of that.
He's like, that yellow eye is freaking me out, Manu. And he, clinks the glass, and he's like, gulp, just like brushes it, and the froth of the beer gets, you know what I mean? He's like, "Oh man, Elturel, they got one hell of a tanker here."
I grab one too, and I just eyes wide open with the one just going.
Yeah.
Crush it. It's like it freaks me out too, but
you can tell though, there's something about the light of the companion that's around here. That eye's starting to like. It's not functioning very well with this much goodness around.
Right.
But yeah. So Henry, they bring you a plate of food, and Lantoris, they give you like an oil can and 3 Duracells, and you know what I mean. I don't. In Thesis, yeah, you're there. You've seen Unthar Frume before. You've never been like this close before, but you guys have a familiarity of both being from this area. And he sets a seat down next to you and slides over. He's got this like wooden cask, opens it up and like and passes you a beer as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna smash that beer, and then
okay.
And then I wanted to talk to Rhea and just see what she's up to and who she's planning on riding with.
Okay. She's like, "Well, if you're not there, I'll most likely be riding with the Hell Riders. We're looking to attach ourselves with the Order of the Gauntlet."
Okay.
You can tell Order of the Gauntlet's like the prime contractor, and like the Hell Riders are a sub underneath. You know what I mean? Like underneath the Order of the Gauntlet. The companions can call them up if they want to, but the companions are very dismissive with the Hell Riders and probably wouldn't want them in the big charge.
Okay. What's she heard about their plan overall?
They're gonna Colonel Tavington it. They're gonna wait till most likely when the armies form up, and they're gonna wait for some moment to have some large charge to go down in the annals of time, because they've got like a 1,500 companions. They want their moment of glory.
Okay, so I'll grab her a beer, say thank you, and then move on back to the group.
Okay. You guys can hang out there for as long as you want. You do know that after a few beers, Oldar's like, well, Dagnabbit is here. I need to go find her the places for, the dwarves where we're placing them in the High Garden. Distributing land to do dwarf things and barracks stuff. My vocabulary just died. Anyways, he's gonna get the dwarves a place to stay because they're just arriving with the rest of the vanguard. And he's like, I'll see you in the morning. He's like, as soon as Dagnabbit gets through here with Dagal gets here with all the pomps and circumstances, we're gonna march him straight into the High Hall, straight into a briefing. And tell him what's up. And he's like, so I need to go plan that. And he's like, dismisses himself and he's like, well, if I could be excused. And Oldar Ravengard, ominously, big strong dude, adjusts his pauldron one more time, stretches it out and walks off and takes a note from a flaming fist sycophant from on the outside and walks off.
I'm going to excuse myself out to the central garden.
Okay.
And
you walk outside. You're walking through some folks. The bar's kind of getting thin. There's some dwarves walking in now that you can see. They're what do they call, the Iron Guard or something like that? Dagalt's or Dagnabbit's dudes. I forget what their name is.
As I pass by, I'm gonna say, enjoy the drinks.
They've been marching for a long time. They're like hauling butt up to the bar to just crush as many beers as possible. As you're going outside, there's just people bringing in from the town just barrels and barrels of beer as these dudes show up.
Yeah, so I'm going out to the park, setting up Darren's fortress or Darren's tower again, and I'm going inside, keeping myself away from everybody, knowing that I'm doing this under the auspices of I'm staying away from everybody so they can get rest, knowing that the eye prevents people from getting rest.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going inside the tower, and I'm going to call to Gavin to pass score.
Okay. All right. You try to do this, and he doesn't. There's no answer.
Is it because of the companion rolling?
You can roll for it.
Yeah, that's probably a no. Was it 17?
I mean, you get the idea that maybe Passacor doesn't want to reveal himself anymore via anything in this area. You know
Gotcha.
that there's some pretty aware clerics in this area that might be on him real fast. Iron Guard. I was right. The Iron Guard of Admar. Anyways, I'll get stuck on some lore and I have to figure it out before I. But you call out to him. You sit there. You can feel the dark wispiness. The shadows start showing up. There's like a dark corner of Darren's tower, and then it just kind of you get the idea while the shadow expands and then it closes. Like that he's kind of there, but he's not about to speak or do anything.
Gotcha. I will. I'll make this attempt outside of Elturel then.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
And I'm gonna camp out here for the night.
Okay. Epione, Kaigon, you guys are crushing food. Kaigon, you want to keep eating there, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out and make sure there's no meat left over.
Okay. All right, you just cleaning the bones, Telenor. What was that? Was that Sword in the Stone style of eating?
Yep.
Yeah. If only it was that easy.
Goes by everyone. place healing touch on her friends as she walks out and goes to bed.
Gives about like one lay on hands to everybody. Just kind of makes you feel good. Just gives you a little. That's nice. That was nice. Did you guys hear? She's gonna walk out and do like one healing touch, from her divinity pool or whatever, to kind of just make everybody feel better.
Take it.
Yep.
Healing.
You were eating a lot and you were getting like a stomach ache, and instantly Kagan, she like places her hand on you, and you're like, you get hungry again. You're like, yes, yeah. You're like, yes. She helps digest your food, and you're just like, okay, that's cool. She's useful. Okay, so you walk outside and your ears are ringing just a little bit from how loud it is in there, from like the voices, indiscernible voices, as the closed captioning says, and bing danging in the background. You walk outside, you turn a left, and you said where did you want to head towards? To bed. So you're gonna. I'm assuming there's that chapel to Lavander. You walk outside and you're walking for a little bit. Do a perception check for me. Henry, what do you want to do, buddy?
I want to nail down our plan.
Okay, so you're staying in the. Okay.
Yeah, I'll hang out.
Okay.
And gather as much intel as I can as
Okay.
far as what's going on with, the rank and file.
Okay, Zeus, what do you want to do? Are you staying there with Kaigon and?
Yeah, I'm gonna drink with Henry, and we're gonna come up with the bestest plan.
Okay. Okay. Yep. You're walking along, and you hear some sort of like out of your, but you just keep walking through the forest and heading towards across the High Garden. What was your passive perception? I guess is what I would want to use. What's your passive perception? 11. It's just something. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of look around. You thought you heard something out of the corner. Yeah. You thought you heard something. You can keep pressing. Yeah. You heard something, and then you just keep kind of cruising. So Henry and you can see the chapel. It's like a smaller chapel to Lavander ahead of you. If you want to, So you're walking towards that. You're almost to the chapel. Henry, you got Zeus there with you, and Rainier is there. Rhea Moonshadow, it's like Rhea something with an M, but anyway, so she's there as well, and Kaigon's there, and Lantoris. You guys wanted to resolve anything else?
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering, we don't really know if our plan is going to work, or if the place we plan on moving to is really even the spot we need to be specifically, because it is pretty far away, correct?
Yeah, but the way that Rainier Neverember described it, there's a tunnel system that leads from Darkhold straight to it.
Yeah, I guess my question is based on the distance, the army's going to go straight to the Well of Dragons, correct?
Correct.
So what's the distance of this tunnel exactly, and how long would that take us to even get there, right? If the plan is to get in there and then be at the Well of Dragons around the time the army's conducting their attack, I don't think we should be traveling with the army or even close to with the army. We probably need to go ahead of time and get in there.
We're teleporting.
We're gonna teleport to the dark castle.
Epione turns around, you guys start asking this question as she's starting to walk out. You know what I mean? She's like, "I'm gonna teleport us." But anyway, you want to walk?
Then we need to know how long it's going to take to walk the tunnel from Darkhold
That's
to
the
arrive
question.
at the same.
But yeah, so he said it was like a day travel to whatever weird room that was, a large room, and then another day's travel beyond that.
So 2 days just to travel from Darkhold to the Well of Dragons.
roughly.
And we have to be there within 4 days. Is when we're trying to converge.
So it's like, yeah, it's about. Can you guys hear Aviane?
We need to be there for 20 days. So
Yeah.
we have plenty of time to get in there and intervene. Even if something was to distract us, we have time to defeat that, recover, and then enter.
Now, is the spell or whatever she uses to get us there, is that reliable, or is it something that could mess up and we have to have a backup plan?
Pretty well. I saw exactly where this castle was, so the spell will get us around
Close.
the castle somewhere.
Okay.
And you've teleported before. So she was like, she talks to Zesis or whatever. Zesis can be like, yeah, I mean, she, based on you just describing where the shield hall was, Helm's shield hall, she booped you guys straight into there.
Yeah, she was able to get us here very reliably.
So that's our plan.
Plan.
Sounds like a good plan.
Sounds
We
wild.
Shall we all heal and rest and enjoy the rest of our evening? Oh, there is foam in it. Did you?
Yes.
Put foam in there because if you
I'm down with this idea.
jam your hood in.
Sounds like we have about 17 days of relaxing before we have to teleport.
We don't know what we're gonna encounter once we get to the Dark Castle, so that's what it's called, right?
I don't.
Darkhold.
The Dark Castle. The Dark Castle.
So hard. This lore. And you just keep me.
Can we?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there's I mean, so
I say we try to take over the castle.
you guys could, yeah, it's just a 20-day thing, 19-day, the plot amount of days. You know that in about 4 days, the army's gonna move from. It's gonna move out, so you guys will like be lonely where you're at, for a while. But yeah.
Is there any like side quests we can go take care of while we wait, or?
Loads of things. It's your world.
I'm sure there's some beast around the Darkhold that we'll have to take care of.
Yeah.
But we can't go early because we're waiting for the distraction, right?
No, we can go. We
Well,
need to go. We need to go early. We need to
Okay.
go
I was gonna.
probably like 5 days before the 20.
Okay.
Because we don't exactly know where we're gonna end up near Darkhold. So that
Is
we
there any way we can scout
This
this?
is Argent, by the way. As Argent walks in, like, because Manu went to bed. Now Argent's in there. Doop, doop.
from a lot. Like,
There's
ah!
no way.
Looks like I got a crazy eyebrow. Good.
For now, they're
Is there any way we can run a scout for this, or like do the pre-scout mission?
A pre-scout mission.
Yeah, because we did the pre-scout mission with Hunter.
The creepy.
Yeah, it's like the pre-rehearsal.
Now, like this is the good part of Dungeons and Dragons. You guys are alone. You guys are eating food and you're figuring stuff out. This is it.
I will probably have to do 4 teleportations to get everyone there. So it's going to take a couple times. I can take 10 people at a time, but we have a bigger. I can take the party that we have now, but then the rest of our party would have to come as well.
Love the helmet. Love stormtroopers.
So you can take 10.
Yes.
So right here we have 7. If we take Cliff, that's 8. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ash is 8. Cliff is 9.
Connor.
Connor's 10. So that, I think that's it.
You get the feeling 10's the number that's gonna make it. You get a weird, you know what I mean, like Nirvana chill down your spine. Then 10. 10's about the number.
10 is the number. The number is 10.
Before teleportation is just gonna get real wonky. Good.
Been there.
You hear in the background, what about these? You see like this silver dragon outside the door, like, what about Steve?
Feeling Steve should stay.
Steve, you need to heal up.
He's a rough spot. He hasn't even healed yet, by the way. Yeah.
Steve.
Oh, really? Oh, you guys, yeah.
Healing on him.
What's
Steve.
So this sounds like a good plan.
You guys got a solid plan?
I think so.
You guys know when you want to leave. When you want to make this teleportation, help the DM out on this one, just so I can definitely not throw encounters at you.
So
Days?
5 days prior.
Okay. Tygon, you know that in the back of your mind, you wanted to do some shopping. What I would say with your passive perceptions is the armies are arriving. The amount of loot that's left in this place is thinning out fast. So, you know, if you wanted to get into provisioning, you know, as a guy like yourself would think, as opposed to just, you know, bags on bags shopping, you know, to build up your provisions. You know, the next day is probably where it's at. The dwarves will be super hungover or not tomorrow morning, and as they arrive.
Your new tap.
Okay. We got a new hero for you coming.
Oh, Deland's still out in the High Garden, right?
Yeah, he's Dayland. Yeah.
Dayland.
He can be if you want to look for him. Like, yeah, he's out there farting around.
Yeah, I guess I would, after attempting to reach Passacor and failing, I guess I'd walk out and find him, and
That's no problem. He's, you know, it's a big garden, but Dayland's there. You guys are, it's getting quieter, and, you know, it's 10 o'clock ish, and most of the lawful good functioning alcoholics in the Order of the Gauntlet are getting ready to go to bed before they do their stabling and things like that tomorrow. You know, Epione's walking out. Manu, you're almost to the Darren's Tower as you look over and you see Dayland, you know, nearby, and he's kind of looking off, you know, just like he's feeling his neck a little bit, you know, he's trying to, you see him like doing a little bit like a cure wounds on his neck, and he's just like, and he's just, you know, he makes eye contact with you, and he's just like, Manu was,
what happened?
and I was beast-shaped and minding my own business. I figured I was going to be a full-on elk, you know, and some jackass shot me in the neck. But anyways,
Looks like it hurts.
So it's all good. He's like, yeah, I got one about 3 or 4 inches in there, closer to hit my jugular, but
I reach into my pocket. I hand him a potion of gooder healing.
oh, he's like, thank you, you know, and he over his shoulder, he drinks it. It's like, ooh, feeling much stronger now, Manu. He's like, hey, I'll tell you what. He's like, I taught some commands to Ash today. She's doing great.
Sweet.
Flashy.
He.
Okay, yeah. It's like I would know that as an advanced druid. I can pick out the genders of owl bears, of course.
So I heard the Enclave is moving in.
I mean, they're here.
Oh, they're here.
And he's like, he's like, they're here. They're in the High Garden. There's various well, one was a rabbit, but this happens, and he gestures to various people that are in the High Garden, some hippies rolling around, just like, yeah, there they are, they're doing stuff. No offense, druids.
Were you able to come across that ring of animal speaking to animals? Animal speaking?
Oh, he's like, yeah, we're working on it. He's like, can I get back to you tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay.
I was hoping to get that before we move out.
Okay.
If you can find one.
Yep. He's like, there's other druids around here. He's like, I'm certain we've got one.
It might help me to handle Ash a little bit better.
Yeah. To learn a new language? I would say that's like if you shut down completely, if you want to make this your sole focus, I would say that you could be novice at something. You could go to the library and just, crush it. Like, if I wanted to learn, a language right now, you could be okay with it with a few rolls.
When I
Can you guys hear?
No.
hear anything being spoken,
Roll a perception check. No. Might have to try to remember tomorrow, though. You're pretty gassed. You've been scrying and stuff like that. So, yeah. You're walking along. Are you guys walking out as well? Are you guys leaving this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a place to sleep.
Let's see, Henry. What's your passive perception?
I believe it's 16.
Oh, Lantaurus. What's your Lantaurus? Roll
Mine
perception.
Passive or roll?
Passive perception. I'm sorry, roll perception.
Ugh.
Sorry, I didn't know you were Corgi.
Yeah. Hold on, let me put
My
it up.
passive wisdom is 20, Tim.
Okay. Yeah, you pick up on something, and you kind of, as you guys are walking out into the street, you see Daylan like looking off to the side, kind of squinting, and you kind of bump Lantaurus and get his attention to look down the street. Then Lantaurus will roll up.
It was 18 for my roll.
Okay, you see something that looks a little bit out of place. 2 or 3 streets down, you see like this ladder that's like taller than a building. Like, it's you see like there's the building's like a 2-story building, but the ladder is like
way above it.
huge. Yeah, it's like it goes like way above it. And there's a guy like halfway up it. There's no window there or anything, and he's just kind of leaning off to the side. And he's kind of like looking around.
And I'm walking with Henry.
You're walking with the party. Yeah, everybody's there. You guys can just see Manu peeling towards Darren's tower.
Okay. If I see this, I'm gonna bring it up, and then like tap Henry on the shoulder and say, "Hey, do you see that too?" And then I point over and kind of let him know in the general direction that there's a weird-looking ladder up against the building, and see if he. Am I crazy, or does he see it too? Kind of thing. Henry.
I see it.
Yeah. Yep.
Do
Henry,
do
you roll
we?
a check as well. Thesis, you're kind of walking out. You see Lantaurus looking over, and Kaigon, you see, this is kind of everybody's kind of turned their head like, what the?
I got 16 for me.
Okay. You notice that the guy in the distance, it's probably like 100 feet away, you can't really make out any faces. You see this, like a wave. And then he starts walking up the ladder and like just starts running up the ladder, and he's like above the building, and it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he's just climbing up this ladder, and it's above the building, and he's about 3/4 of the way up. So like 20 feet above the building.
Is this like a ladder to nowhere?
You just see him going up.
Oh, we gotta go check this out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think we want to. Do we want to shout over at Manu, who's on the way to Darren's tower? Manu, come back!
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Better,
We're gonna do-
I can send up my skywrite that says "Come back."
I'll grab the tower, boop, pop it, and then meet back with the rest of the group.
Okay. So then we're gonna mosey over towards the said location together as a gaggle.
We'll do the.
Okay. Guys walking up over there. You see the guy's stopped, but he's 60, 70 feet above you right now up this ladder. It's only about the size of the width of a person. It's wooden. It doesn't seem like why if it's going 60 feet up, it doesn't seem very like load bearing. But because he's like way up there, obviously it's working.
So when we get there, I'm gonna do an Arcana check on the ladder.
Okay.
And then 16, so it'd be 26.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a wooden ladder. It seems not very sturdy at all, but there is something that's holding it in place, to be able to be used. And it seems magical. Definitely, there's something magical about it. As you get closer, you see, from the top, he's like, Lentoris! And he's waving. Remember me? And he's like, oh, he's gonna be so excited. And he gets to the top of the ladder, and he's kind of like looking down at you guys. What appears to be the top of the ladder.
Right. So, passive wisdom. Do we recognize this guy? My passive wisdom's 20.
Never seen him before. He's wearing like kind of like a alchemist's robes or whatnot. Yeah, he looks like he's in his early 20s. Younger guy. He's got a leather pouch around him with like what looks like 2 or 3 the man purse thing with like 3 like books kind of jangling, and he's got like another kind of pouch off to his side, and just a beaded belt thing hanging off him. He's got like kind of like a cheesy. He's got no other facial hair that you can see, but he's trying to grow a mustache in, but it's not really coming in very good. Like he hasn't hit beard phase of his life yet. He's at the top.
Using the eye, can I see anything further in? Is there anything?
Okay.
Can I see anything?
Yep. Go ahead and make a with advantage. Go ahead and make a perception check.
28.
Okay, so you see him going like this above it. You don't see when you instantly look up with your right eye. You see him doing this, but there's nothing there. But with the left eye, he's grabbing another piece of wood, like another rung of a ladder.
Above where he's at.
Yep. So he's at the top of the ladder, and he's going like this. And you don't, as you look closer with your true sight, you see another portion of a ladder. Oh, did we lose you? Regain you. You back? Oh, you're.
So I'll let everybody know. It's like, I don't know what's up there, but he's grabbing onto something else. Something ain't right with this.
Do we need to go do this? What do we need to do, guys? And do we all go, or do we some go?
Kaigon asked for a side quest. I've got of side quests. So.
What do you guys want to do?
Climb the ladder.
Are you guys talking? You guys saying this out loud?
Yeah.
Whoa. You guys should come.
I'm
You hear it from the top. Come on.
All right. I'm in.
Hold on, but before you do that, Zesus,
Careful.
before you do that, Zesus, can I try something real quick?
You guys see a halfling walk up to you guys as well. He's got like 2 kids with him, and he's got an empty cart that looks like there's kind of like food.
Eating it all, does he?
No. It's just a regular old halfling, and he's like looks up the ladder, and he's like, "What in blazes is this?" Ow. He kind of looks at you guys like, he looks at the kids, and he's like, "Get back, get behind me!" And he's like, looks at the rest of this party, and he's like, looks straight up at Kygon. You know, it's like his neck is like breaking, looking up, and he's just like, "Well, you guys aren't going up there, are you?" You know, in his halfling paranoia.
Do we want to
Do you know
go?
something we know?
You been?
I think we go up there.
Never seen this ladder in my life, and he's like, "This is my big right there." And you see off to the side, he says, like, "That's me. This is my place. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing up there? This is my establishment. This is my bakery. I'm Pilster Pebblebook. What are you doing here?" And he's like, kids, into the garden." And they walk off from the garden.
I'm gonna turn the Rod of Lordly Might into a battering ram and smash the bottom of this ladder.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll for a hit.
Nat 20.
Nat 20, you just take this thing in like a big like arcane, you know, burst, like reverberates against that, and you see the guy at the top of this thing look down. He's like, "Whoa, careful now, you might break the ladder." And he just kind of like, he goes up, and the ladder is getting taller, and as he gets up, there's more wood behind him, and he's like, he's like, "See if you can shake me off." You can sit there and bang away all day. Come on, he says.
Yeah, we kind of have to go do this now.
Yeah, I put the rod away and I just start climbing.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Oh, you're climbing. Manu's climbing?
I'm
Kyle,
climbing.
So if we're thinking that this ladder's not very sturdy,
as you guys get on the ladder, you notice the guy on the top climbs up more. And he looks down, he's like, "Ooh, you're coming."
Do we have anybody that has like can fly or anything?
I mean, I have my own ladder.
The wizard's on summer break.
I can cast.
Can you put your tower down and then just climb up the tower to be equal to how high this guy is?
Tower's 30 feet. This is about 80 feet.
Okay.
You hear from the distance, "You, sir, come down from there instantly," as like one of the you know, Elturelian guards like walk up. "What is the meaning of this?" Like, "Pilster, is this you?" And "I never get down." And he yells up his little high-pitched halfling voice.
I just look at everybody. I guess like, if this guy is really gonna trick me, I'll take the fall.
"You don't even know me," you hear from the top. He's like, "I'm not tricking you. Come on."
How high up is he?
He's about 70, 80 feet up right now.
I want to send my Echo 15 feet up and see if that makes him move.
Okay.
Because he'll just spawn up there at 15 feet.
Okay. You move 15 feet?
No, I send my Echo up there.
Okay. So you're up 15 more feet. As you go up 15 more feet, you look up, and Jacob has moved. The guy has moved. He's like, "Oh, trying to catch old Jacob, are we?" And he climbs up a little bit higher, and like almost the speed that your Echo moves, he increases in that distance. And he's like, "Whoa, careful."
Back in the beanstalk. Okay, we have to.
Cesis, what you doing, buddy?
Oh, I mean, I'll climb.
Cesis is on. He's like, "Brave Sir Knight," he says, "Oh, this is gonna be fantastic," and he's like, "Lantoris, come on!"
Lantoris has to go. I mean, he knows him.
Oh, just because he knows my name doesn't mean I know who he is. His name's Jacob, and he has a ladder.
Jacob's ladder.
What? It's not hackneyed at all.
Is this an attempt to get us to exercise?
At least we're not climbing a cheeseburger right now.
Yeah, maybe you are. Are you on the ladder?
Not stepped on yet.
Lantoris?
I don't know if I'm gonna climb the ladder, but I think I can help my friends out.
Okay.
I'll toss a marble up to each of them and tell them that if they hold on to it, it'll cast levitate on them.
As you go ahead and do a strength check to give a throw.
Yeah.
Athletics, we'll say. Do some athletics.
Yes. Athletic.
Are you done there? Okay.
It'll be 17.
Apione's on. So as you throw this, when you throw it, you notice that as Apione grabbed onto the bottom rung and put her feet on to go up, they are 40 feet up, and your stones don't. As you threw it at them, it just pushed them all up the ladder. As you guys look down, you just went up like 30 feet, all of you guys. And the individual, definitely his name's not Jacob, is like, I wouldn't do that. Or do. And he just starts like, come on, Henry.
I'm just following. Now we're bought in. We're going.
Thesis, you on? Kaigon's on. Lantoris.
So
The ladder goes up a little bit more, and he's like, one more, all aboard.
at this point, we should all be on the ladder.
Alrighty. Lantoris, as soon as you grab on the bottom, you guys all are now, like, as you look around you, you're no longer anywhere near Elturel. You're in this massive void of stars around you. It's lit in some sort of way as you see the individual. He's like, ooh, this is when it gets hard. Ooh. And he's like, and you see him with his legs kind of dangling in a square, like, light. And you hear him go up there, got him! I got him! And, yep, they're on their way. And, you see his, like, feet kind of disappear, and he's just, you hear, like, in the distance, like, you gotta keep trying, though! Come on!
Well, Manu's not afraid of climbing anything, so can I use dash and go 80 feet?
Ooh. Dash, yeah, roll some strength.
Athletics? Strength?
Roll athletics with disadvantage. You're going fast on this.
It is 14.
Okay. As you're running up, you notice that, like, the ladder doesn't look wooden anymore. It gets, like, almost transparent. It's like, cylindrical, transparent. You can kind of see the stars and whatnot through it. You see, like Milky Way-ish looking blob clouds, that are like golden and rainbow-like. And as you slip and you're on the other side of this, you get about 30 feet, and you slip and you're on the other side, and your feet are hanging off, and Kaigon is coming up like right by you.
I'm gonna grab him and help steady him.
Bless you. Can Epione read the stars?
Sure.
Do I see anything in the stars?
Sure. You are nowhere near where you're at. As you look around, you do not recognize a single constellation.
Do I detect any illusions?
Go for it.
With the eye is
Okay.
perception plus 8, 23.
Nope, no illusions. It is what it is. It is it is still a ladder. You can see when you grab onto things, wood does show up. When you reach up, one eye doesn't see anything, and one eye does see wood. And that's the same for everybody. You guys don't necessarily see anything, but as you reach up around the same spot where you normally reach, you're grasping onto something, and it's almost like glass for you guys. And roughly 60 feet up is a square with just bright light, but you can't see past it where the ladder reaches the top.
Right. Oh,
Go towards the light.
Yeah, I'm
going towards the light.
continuing towards the light.
Are you dashing?
Yes, I am dashing.
Okay, roll another strength check with disadvantage.
That's a 20.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
With disadvantage?
With disadvantage. Dirty 20.
Okay, so you're moving up, and you hear as you're getting closer, you're like, whoa, 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 and you see the light. What are you doing?
I'm busting through it.
Okay, a wooden ladder. You're outside of us, and this heat, just beaming heat, hits you, and just like this wind, you come out, and there's just this huge, endless, like landscape ahead of you. Roll a perception check.
26.
26. As you look out, you see in like the far distance, you see like this, like floating, that looks almost like a crystal, like shaped, way in the horizon. It stops and it jets off, but you know that this thing must be 400, 500, 600 feet high, and it's like floating and screams like off into the distance, and it's like, and it like takes off like a UFO. Where you're at, when you look down, you're in a ladder that's just descending to do a 10-foot circular tower. The tower is roughly 60 feet high as well. Everything's 60 feet to me today. High enough to break some ankles. You know what I mean? Like you look down, and it's a circular tower. There is a wooden door that's open on the top, and the guy's there, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Jacob. Don't be mad. Come on. The rest of you guys following Manu, he's like, quick, you need to make room for everybody, though. So hop down.
I will hop down, I guess.
Fantastic. I cannot. You guys came. This is going to be great. He's going to be so happy to meet you. You saved his life.
Who's he?
Come on. What do you want to meet him? Come on. And he goes, you see him go down another flight of stairs into this tower. He disappears into darkness.
Where is this? Where's the
Kaigon, are you coming up?
Yeah.
You poke your head through. You're at the top of the. You're like, it's just enough room for you. You're at like the same spot as Manu. You guys are like, you're on the other side of that. You guys are like, it's like this, like, but you're outside. Same thing. Huge barren wasteland, scorching hot, almost like a putrid smell to it. When the gusts come through,
I can see the ground, like below.
You see it's up the tower, 10 feet below you.
Oh, I'm
so roll that ground, see if it feels solid.
Yep. When you walk down, it's a tower.
All right, I'm gonna step onto the tower.
Okay. You step down the tower. You see on the floor a hatch with a ladder that goes down into darkness.
I look at Manu like, you want to go?
Hold on a second. I yell up to everybody else. Just come down here. I don't know what this is, but it's gonna be fun.
Jesus, you hear him right away because you're the next one. on the ladder, and Henry's
the ladder.
behind you, and Epione. You going?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys all coming out. You guys all pop out. You see the same scene. You guys are up on the tower. You're kind of looking around. Endless landscape. You do see in the distance, far, like 20, 30 miles, there is, a hilly landscape. Like, looks like mountains, and then they completely, everywhere you look, there is like the same mountain pass, like around you guys. But it's 30, 40 miles away.
So I'll tell Kaigon, hey, just pass everybody the same message. As soon as they get here, start coming down the tower, and
A
we'll.
head pops up. A head pops up. You guys coming?
So I pass that to Kaigon. I start heading down the tower.
Okay, so you head into the thing.
Yep.
As soon as you go into the darkness of the latch, you are in this massive alchemical like laboratory. There's a dude with like a bald head off to the side, and he's looking up. You see like these twirling tubes. It starts out like you see this pink fluid going through, and it drips into another beaker, and it blows out like this bluish smoke into this other large, like, there's a Bunsen burner scene. There's all sorts of like chemical reactions happening. A massive library of books behind you. The books of the library, they're like moving like this. As it opens and closes, you see another row, vast library, like closing and opening, and another, like, it's just almost endless in one direction of like library. And it's like, kind of twirling and like different kind of, you can see it's just completely difficult to navigate. In the center, there's like a little, chemistry set and books open and stuff like that. And below it, you see like, you've made it. There's a bald-headed guy. He's got like a bit of a mustache. He's wearing a black cloak with red trim and whatnot. He's just like, I had no idea where I was. You saved my life, dear Manu. Off to the side, you see what looks like droids being put together. Various different forms of Lantaurus. All over the place. Just rows and rows and rows of them. Just like against the wall. You see, Lantaurus' face not put together, and he's just like, oh, can you please all come? I can't wait to see him.
It's like, I think they're coming. And
you hear him say, Jacob, thank you so much. Big rewards, big rewards. And Jacob disappears into the library.
I lean in. Where exactly are we?
This is one of my many mansions. Come on.
I'm already here.
You guys all coming down into the steps?
Yeah, I'm waiting. As soon as Isis shows up, I tell him.
Okay.
Kind of file everybody through.
Okay, and then Kaigon comes down last. And he's like, wow. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, he looks at Epione, and she's like, well, welcome home. And he looks at all of you, and he's like, so, this is wonderful. Lantaurus, it is I, your maker. He's like, do you remember me? Probably not. We got separated. This is great. I got pulled into that mist that you guys were in. I was lost for years and years and years. I had no idea who I was. And he reaches out his hand, and he shakes your hand. Sai, Mordkainen, welcome. And then what we'll do is we'll pick up on this next time. You guys were supposed to meet him in Barovia. He was like one of the NPCs there. There was like the one place that you didn't look way up past the wolves. He was up there like losing his mind. He doesn't remember who he was, but he knows when he came out of the mist. He's been looking for you guys.
As in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Mordenkainen?
Mordenkainen's mansion that you're in? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Did not expect that.
That's a good cliffhanger. You know what I mean? We can mess around for a little bit, little filler for a few days while the armies arrive. But yeah.
I agree. That's funny.
So Warduke is not dead, huh?
Yeah, so dead's super dead when you guys really want someone to die. If you would have left him in the ground, he probably would have been toast. But since you stole all of his stuff, and the DM's a real big fan of Warduke. He's coming back for that helmet. Like he's gonna get it back, Connor. I know you're out there somewhere in the heats of of England, so Warduke.
Well, goodness. My goodness. Well, I'll have to have some good music for next time then.
Oh yes, very mysterious wizard music.
I think I can do that.
I have not cast Detect Evil since we were like sub-level 10.
Yeah.
I had to go look it up. And I was like, let me cast this real quick. Oh, let me double check. It only works within 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comes across as interesting.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, so did his rapture.
We apparently saved his life.
We'll get to it. That's the trailer, and then I'll backtrack it next time we play. But yeah, Led Taurus, you're looking around and it's starting to, it's starting to come together. Like or it's not, but you definitely see lots of clones of you around the place.
Ooh, spare parts.
Yeah.
Gonna take this and,
Well, thanks everybody for playing.
Thanks everybody
good
for
session.
showing up. Thanks everybody who stuck around and watched. Whoever's watching
sorry
today.
For our internet. It does it at noon every day here. Yeah.
So.
Xfinity's awesome until it's not. I've got we're definitely way over our data usage, even though because we got the boy in the house now. Yeah. Probably didn't help the birthday party and everybody on our Wi-Fi yesterday also, but well, all right, guys.
Well, thanks. If everybody, anybody who is watching, anybody who sticks around to watch the rest of this, feel free to follow, subscribe, watch us whenever we play on Sundays, and we'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.
Bye.